Hey, it's Joseph, owner and creator of the On30 Mosquito Creek Lumber Company, Swamp Log and Railroad, and time for an update. This time we're heading over to Blackwater Junction. And by the way, while I have your attention, if you could be so kind as to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button on all the videos. You can go back and watch a lot of the past videos, well, all of them actually. And there's going to be a lot more activity going on during the winter months while we're waiting out the storms and the snow here in Minnesota. So yeah, wishing we were in the warmth of Louisiana, but we can do that by coming into the train room, right? So anyway, let's head over to Blackwater Junction and see what's going on. Well, here we are, Blackwater Junction, the engine facilities, and a brand new section that looks a lot better right now than it did a couple hours ago. It was pretty much like, you know, untracked sections of layout under construction always end up collecting all the tools and all the junk. Anyway, if you're new to the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company, this section over here is one of the originals. Let's zoom out a little bit. One of the original sections that was saved and brought into our new home when we moved. The engine facility features a turntable and a service track here for the small diesels and the motor cars and speeders and things like that. In the background there, those are remnants of my bigger Mosquito Creek Lumber Company layout when I had the Blackwater Naval Air Station. Those are some Quonsets that will continue to live on, and the Blackwater Lumber Company. There'll also be a few other structures and things there. So one of the big things on the new layout is, as always, trying to fit in as much track as I possibly can to allow some decent operations. And by as much track, I'm not talking about filling this whole area with yard tracks and things. I'm talking about enough track to hold a complete train and be able to have the engine run around it and take it back. From this direction, we head behind the computer and then into Mosquito Camp and the rest of the layout. Right now, I've kind of got some On30 code 83 flex track just sitting in place to get an idea. Here's the Blackwater Junction depot and the freight building there, and a scratch-built water tank. The depot is pushed all the way up against the backdrop. I don't know if you can see it there. I had to trim off some of the back of the roof to fit it in so we can squeeze in some tracks here. What I'm wanting to do, we'll get over here, is take this one track that used to be just a siding, a dead-end siding that bumped into the old background. This was the edge of the layout, the old layout, and this is a brand new extension here. And I'm going to be not necessarily using this, but probably trimming this piece of track back to get a nice smooth transition curve to come into the switch here, and my main track and the runaround track. So what the idea is to add a drop down shelf extension that'll come out to right about here. This is the door to the spare bedroom, and that will come up, and I'll either put the turnout on the shelf or put the turnout here and then just have a track come out so I can come through, bring the locomotives around, get them around their train, and take off. I'm going to be using these guys. These are pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen them before. These I got off of Amazon. They're locking table brackets or shelf brackets. They work really good. We put some in our camper van to hold up folding down tables. So what this will do is it'll mount here. Probably can get away with just one of them, although we ordered two, but I'll use one for my other layout. Going to do the same thing there, but that'll mount onto the layout this way, and that should support as much as the extension as possible. And then they're pretty easy to, if we can do this with one hand, to collapse. You just push that button and it'll fold back down like that. Okay, so now I've replaced this switch with a little bit longer one that will push this switch back into the old section. Will give me a little bit more space here, because I'm also considering putting in a switch here, or turnout, to go into a possible team track or a storage track for the log cars, since this is kind of an intermediate junction for the woods trains coming in, dropping their loads, picking up empties, and then a mill train comes, drops off empties, picks up the logs, and takes them into the mill. So I think with the ability to get the locomotive around its train and then back, and then shove the loaded log cars into a siding here, come back, and be able to head back into the woods with the empties would be a good thing. All this area in here would probably end up being mostly empty. There's a possibility of bringing a tail track over here for the turntable, another storage track here that I could display locomotives that aren't being used on the layout. This will be a parking area, maybe another building there, and maybe another building over here. But for the most part, this is a very rural part of southern Louisiana, so there wouldn't be a lot of industries and activity going on here. I'm kind of that same train of thought that less is more when it comes to your model railroad. There might be a loading and unloading dock here, but that would be, or over here, and that would be about it. A road coming in, and maybe an area over here where my fried catfish truck would be parked and serving the clientele that are coming and going out of Blackwater Junction here at the depot. So with that said, that's kind of a rundown of the latest compared, like I said, to what it was looking at like a little while ago. This is quite a change. Oh, and I probably would not use flex track here, but since this is up and easy to get to, I'll probably hand lay the track in on this spur. So that's it from the Mosquito Creek Lumber Company, my On30 swamp log and railroad. Thanks for watching and following along. Be sure to head over to Facebook and Instagram. We have a presence there and post a lot of pictures and some videos as well. Thanks again for joining us.